when you feel like all you're doing is playing towards the metrics, no matter which social media channel you're on, the number of likes, the engagement, the number of followers that something gets, and perhaps even the amount of leads that get generated from a single post, a single email, or whatever it is, and however you're putting yourself out there. Maybe it's on Instagram, or maybe it's a YouTube, maybe it's LinkedIn. And we can really get wrapped up into these metrics. And I want to talk about how you can go from letting the metrics drive you to letting momentum drive you. So I've written this 5-part series. This is going to be number 1. I put it on my blog, and I'm gonna share it with you here on YouTube. Why external strategies aren't enough to sustain visibility. And you know what? I think I'm going to make myself a little bit smaller here so we can see more of the screen. And I love to make doodle birds. So here are my doodle birds for this. When external metrics drive your direction, it's like taking everything external and trying to bring it internal in order to create something. So you're leading from the external things, letting it be a big part, if not the first part of your decision-making process. And I want to share with you how you can switch that. Because when internal strengths, they free you, you can move. And it is a much better gauge. You end up creating something that's really resonant for you. And because you are loving yourself, that and what you're doing, and you feel passionate, you're going to have longevity. And one of the things that I thought about when I first came to what I am currently doing and what I'm pursuing, what I'm building, this is not the end game. This is the beginning of it. And I knew I was looking for the long haul. Like, I'm looking for the longevity. This is my last new chapter, and it's a long one. I have a long plan, a long vision for everything, and this is just the beginning stages of it, the first steps. But I knew that I wanted something I could stick with, not like I just need some money to pay my bills today. I mean, yeah, maybe we all have that too. But can I do that, but put my emphasis on long term? Like, for example, YouTube. I'm filming this in it's June 2025. And I'm not filming it for July 2025. I'm filming it for 2026, 2029. I'm looking at things for future. And this is stuff that I'm going to stake my claim on, that I feel like this is the way. And I'll only get deeper and more meaningful in it. But that's how I view everything. That's the kind of way that I want to be building. So I'm building from the inside out. That's how it's sustainable. If you build from the outside in, you're just into the container of the now. And things shift. The containers shift, and then you got to reconfigure that. But if it's always from within you, outward, you're always growing, you're expanding. It's just easier to scale in that direction. So that's what my little doodle birds are about. So let me read here what I put, and I'll fill in the blanks in between the things. A simple truth we overlook. It's where we usually start. In fact, we're often directed to start with a plan. When that is established, if it ain't broken, it works for them. So might as well work for me, right? It's kind of like that saying that if it ain't broken, you don't need to do anything extra. Like, why try to fix it? And but there's a key thing in here. It works for them, and it might, and it may not actually really work for them. You never know when people are, I feel like there's a lot of skepticism, and maybe it's because I'm a Gen Xer. I'm always skeptic of, like, are they really making what they're doing? I remember several years ago starting up this little boutique handbag thing with my sister, and we were like, wow, this is tough getting it started, off the ground and stuff. And we had anticipated it would be, but we're looking around, and it's like, gosh, it seems like everybody else is just thrive in? Is it just us? Like, are we the only ones struggling? And we ended up talking to a bunch of people who had their business for quite some time, and on the outward appearance from their social media and the things that they shared, that it seemed like they were just doing great. But we ended up talking to a lot of them, and they were barely making ends meet. So it wasn't as rosy as what we had read into it. They may not have intended for it to come across that way, but that's how we were interpreting it. So I'm a skeptic. So, and we don't really know if it works for them. They may have rose-colored glasses as they sell you on their strategy. Testimonials can be skewed, numbers can be shaped. The outer confidence might just be a shell protecting the doubt that lies within them. And I've seen this too. I can't tell you. I'm not going to name any names, but I saw a testimonial on a big creator's website for their program. And the person who left the testimonial did it after being in their program for a week. And I know what happened at the end of week 2, they left the program because it wasn't attuned to them. It's not that the creator who had the program was anything, nothing but nice, and nothing wrong with this person. But the person who left was just like, yeah, this is not for me. This is like the hustle thing. It's not my thing. And I see people using testimonials. That's why I don't really like to use testimonials. I'll use some quotes, a few messages that I receive from people. I always tend to remove their name because I don't know. I just do that. And I don't know if that resonates with other people, but I've just seen testimonials so skewed, so yeah, so there you go. Maybe I'm just picky or skeptical or something. I don't know. Maybe you have the same thing. It's easy to fall into there fast in 3 easy steps, right? Or I've done the work so you don't have to. And, sometimes I talk to my clients and I'll say, before they become clients, I have walked this path. So you probably are going to have you'll have fewer obstacles than what I had. Or your obstacles will feel more like bumps rather than mountains because I can help you with a way through them based off of everything that I have done. But I've only walked my path. I have not walked your path. I've walked that path too, more times than I choose to count, yet I never got the promised results. And this is me buying into, I've walked the path so you don't have to. I got the easy steps, 1, 2, 3, and you're good to go. Normally, they don't have all of the steps of the process that I'm missing. They have some of the steps, but not all of them. And so I've never got the promised results. It's not just me. I know many others frustrated with this too, relying on the strategies of others, using it as scaffolding to build ourselves. But you can't build a self from scaffolding. So what I've noticed, most of us start from the outside in. We reach for what others have created, a content calendar that promises engagement, a checklist of how to show up, the perfect sleep mask, playlist, or pair of rejuvenating pajamas. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many of those little things that I've actually tried out from numerous things. And yes, rejuvenating pajamas, that is a thing. I did a sleep mask where, based off of your biofeedback, it plays music, turns it into that. I've done a bunch of things, weird little gadgets, and you know what? They're not bad. In fact, some of them are quite lovely. It's really interesting, but sometimes they're more lovely in novelty than actually results. But they're not you. And over time, that gap between what you do and who you are, well, it starts to wear on your system, especially what once worked, then stops. So a field note, this is me from the field, from my field, my energy field, my field of where I actually physically stand. That's why I call my blog field notes. The first year I posted on LinkedIn, I did everything right. Logical, scheduled, structured. I was trying so hard to be professional. But each post took me further away from myself. I could feel the performance tightening in my chest, and the silence afterwards, it was deafening. 1 hour to write a post, not joking. That was like the norm for me, an hour to write a post, and oftentimes it was longer. Low engagement. And me left wondering, what the heck did I do wrong? And then looking for another solution to fix it. So perhaps you've noticed it too. You're following all the rules and still feel off. You crave clarity, but the more you consume, the foggier you feel. And I can't tell you how many countless programs I did when I first came to LinkedIn because I thought I needed to learn how everybody else does it, as opposed to stepping into how I do it. And I think there's a shift now where a lot of people will say, of course you gotta do it your way. You can't be them. Like, these things get thrown around in the comments, especially on LinkedIn. Like, this is no brainer. Yeah, it's no brainer, but yeah, we are all we are all falling for it. It continues to happen, and some of us, we're doing it without even realizing it. And every once in a while I catch myself in like, oh, hang on a second. This isn't me. I'm trying to find somebody else's fix to fix me. Like, it happens. It's so out there, and yet it's so duh. We all know this, but yet we're still doing it. It's still happening often. So you're following all the rules and still feel off. You crave clarity, but the more you consume, the foggier you feel. The moment something stops working, your confidence crumbles. Your stress and uncertainty spikes every time you try something new. Yeah. Visibility feels like a role to fill, not a reflection that's lived. It's not failure, it's feedback. And I want to invite you a moment to exhale, and like it says right here, seriously start with an exhale before you inhale. Kind of like how they say to release things and you'll create space for something new. The exhaling before you inhale, that's why you do the longer exhale, a shorter inhale, because it starts to ground you. This sends a signal to your nervous system to keep it safe, because it's in the calm safety where we make our most aligned decisions. So a lot of times when I work with somebody and I'll tell them this, to exhale, like, because when they say to take a breath, everybody automatically inhales, and you can get there and then get the longer exhale, but it's just easier if you just exhale. So seriously, whenever you start, first thing you do, empty out everything. And then you can take in that nice big breath. And instantly, I just can't tell you, just from that small, what is that, like a second? 2 seconds? 3 seconds? You can tell it in my voice. I'm all of a sudden calmer. My voice even, I think, goes down a little bit, in a little bit deeper. I feel like I talk from a different point. So I get all amped up, and there's nothing wrong with being amped up. I get very excited, and I'm probably going to start moving back into that. But this calm place that signals safety to our bodies, we make the best decisions from that. So take a moment to notice, what external supports are you leaning on right now? Which ones feel nourishing? Which ones feel like a crutch? And what if you didn't have it tomorrow? What would remain? And that's how you can start to tell that it is scaffolding, that it's a crutch. You don't need it. Kind of like meditation. So I like to meditate. I like guided meditations. I like silent meditations. I don't know what all the proper technical names are. I just know the different ways that I like to meditate. And sometimes I like guided ones. And sometimes I like where you have that music, like the real chord progression type music. There's an actual name for it. I can't remember what the name is off the top of my head. But these that have certain frequencies that are supposed to help you do like sleep better or heal your body or excite you, whatever. I like doing them with those. I like doing them with like a bell ring. I like people talking to me. But if I only meditated with that, what happens if I'm in a place and I don't have access to those? Then what do I do? I mean, I think if my internet went out, what the heck would I do? I wouldn't have access to any of those things. So I also practice meditation in pure silence. And maybe it's not meditation. Maybe it's something different that you want to do. Like if you always have a business coach with you and you lean on them for so much, and there's some coaches who end up creating this kind of codependency without intending to do it, without realizing how much they need to let other people make the choices, do the decisions, and figure out their way, be there as a guide, but not be there as the one to tell you what to do. Because you don't want to be codependent. When you're codependent, then it becomes the scaffolding or training wheels that once you remove, you fall over. So that's something I want you to go through and think about, or it's what I would recommend. Go through and think about what are those things that you're using right now, whether it's in your business or any other aspect of your life. And where does it feel like if that went away, I wouldn't do this anymore? Because this is what happened to me. I was using a tracker for water. And I was so good for 2 years, like near 100% consistency with what my goal was. As soon as I stopped using the tracker, I stopped drinking water. I mean, not entirely, but I didn't come near the amount of water. I was using it as so much as a crutch. When that went away, I stopped doing the thing versus figuring out how I put water in my life, that no matter what happens tomorrow, I still have water in my life. And so that's what I want you to think about even with your business. I mean, what if you didn't have access to those metrics anymore? How would you know which post was your most successful? What if there was no such thing as analytics anymore? How would you know? And so I want you to think about those kinds of things. And so the shift in me that continues to ripple. Once I realized that external strategies could only take me so far, I started working differently. I stopped optimizing. I started listening. Instead of jumping into, what do I need to fix? I asked, where am I now? And I regulate first. It's one of my first things to do. And so I regulated first, then wrote. I use human design to map what I was already true. I got to start that over. Sometimes I get tripped up in my words. I'm so like in the where am I now? It was hanging on. And that's something that's actually really good is I'm reading this back and I'm really thinking about where am I now? And I'm kind of clinging onto it. That shows that that's a line that truly resonates with me. And maybe it resonates for you as well. But I'm going to go back and I'm going to read that. And then I'm going to move from there because it got me feeling and sensing where am I? So instead of jumping into what do I need to fix, I asked, where am I now? I regulated first, then wrote. I use human design to map what was already true instead of reaching for something shiny. I turned inward. Human design is one of those tools that I use to tune inward. It doesn't tell me who to be. It is like a reflection. It's a tool that gets me to contemplate who I am. And my words changed. My energy changed. And without trying, opportunity started finding me. So I do not work from analytics. Yeah, I see how many people have commented. Those things are right there in front of my face. So I do have some kind of conscious awareness of it. But it's not how I measure things. Even how many new leads does this generate? I don't measure things in that way. Because like I said, I'm also not in it for what can I make happen today. I'm in it for what am I building over the long haul? What's the legacy here? And that's what it's something that compounds. You do it right from the beginning, it will compound, and it may feel like a slower build, but it's the one that has longevity, and it is the one that has the bigger payoffs in the end. Because I'm not going to burn it down and restart over. This is who I am. It's real. So, like the picture says, it all stems from this. So I have another little field note here. When perimenopause hit, my sleep went wacky. I read up on all of it. I tried so many things I found on Instagram and Amazon. And a few things, like that eye mask with the biofeedback. And a few things helped, like a weighted blanket, a cooling sleep mask, and a playlist on Alexa. But if they disappeared, I'd still sleep well. I found my inner ways to a good night's sleep. No accessories required. And for LinkedIn, which is the platform I'm primarily on, if the algorithm shifts or a post flops, I don't spiral because they're not my driving force. I am. I am my own momentum. So I'm going to leave you with that. And if you want, you can head on over to the next one. Or if you're watching this the day this airs, it'll come out. Part 2 will be here tomorrow.